Happy New Year, everyone. It is the first day of 2023, and I have an amazing treat for you. We are going to make broccoli fritters. When I had a blog after my divorce called Meals Alone, when I was making things in small portions for singles or couples, I created this recipe out of the broccoli stem because I hate waste. Anyway, I made roasted broccoli this morning, and when I was at the grocery the other day, the freshest broccoli, I always look for the freshest, whether it's organic, commercial, conventional, I think that's conventional, right? Or crowns. Now the crowns don't come with the stem. When I buy something with the stem, sometimes I throw it out because I'm not in the mood to make broccoli fritters, or I make the broccoli fritter, and they are an amazing treat. So the first thing you want to do is peel off that skin, the outside layer, because it's so, you can grate it without peeling it. And I use these very, very thin Hinkle paring knives, and I'll put a link for them in the post, along with the recipe. All right, so we peel, and then we grate. And I'm using the big hole. Some things need the finer hole, like baked goods. Carrot cake, you want to use the finer grate. But today we're using the large grate. Now I've already grated the other stems just to save time. And we are almost to the needed cup. And I do pack these down a little bit because this is the body of the fritter. You may have an occasion where you don't have enough. I've had that happen. I actually don't remember what I did. So you can write and tell me what you chose to do. I suppose you could make half recipe. That just feels to me like a lot of work. For the full recipe only makes 5, so the half might make 3. Anyway, that's your grated broccoli stems. We're going to put it in the bowl. And then I'm one of those people that think onions are pretty interchangeable. Not exactly. A shallot is a shallot, and green onions are green onions. But this recipe calls for chives, and it's winter, so I don't have any fresh chives. But I did happen to have really nice green onions. Again, the grocery really impressed me. Dead of winter, supposed to be shortages, and their produce, it was a Kroger, was amazing. So we're just gonna slice up these green tops really, really thin to mimic chives, and they have a nice onion smell. And then I'm just gonna, so they can spread throughout. Now this only calls for a tablespoon, and I'm famous for adding more of the ingredients I like, or the ones that I think are healthy. At any rate, we're gonna add that to the bowl. And then it calls for sweet pepper. You can use red pepper, orange, or yellow. And I have taken to buying the small peppers. They stay fresh a lot longer than the large ones. And you can get, no, they stay fresher longer. So in the store, they're going to be more firm. Now, I've had these for a while, but again, I don't like waste, so they're not moldy. They're just a little wilted, but we're going to use them anyway. I think, you know, the lack of moisture will just increase the flavor because there's less moisture, right? So I minced these. I cut them very tiny. And I'm a stickler on vegetable size. You know, depending on what you're making, I do believe that the size should match. So because the broccoli is grated, if it was big chunks of broccoli, like roasted broccoli, we could cut this bigger. But with the grate, now again, this only calls for a tablespoon of this, but this is a delicious ingredient. So we're adding a little bit more. These are gluten-free. I use almond flour. And I can't wait for you to see my eggs because they are amazing. So this is 3/4 of a cup. And fritters, you know, baking is the only thing that you have to be exact. And I typically use weights. So we're adding 3/4 of a cup almond flour. And I get Walmart, actually, that's the best price. Walmart or Aldi on almond flour. That's in. So let's add the egg. I have tried Farmers Market eggs. I have tried Aldi eggs. I have tried Trader Joe's eggs. I have tried Kroger eggs. I have tried my meat supplier's eggs. Nobody has eggs like the ones I get from Kroger. And don't freak out. Oh, you know what? That's a little disappointing. They're usually like tangerine colored, you know, amber. But anyway, I'm sure that's still better. It's winter, so maybe they just had an off laying. But when I do get one, I'll show you. So the brand is called Happy Egg. We're going to stir this. I don't like using a whisk for this because it gets all, with the broccoli grating, it gets stuck in the top, inside the whisk. And then it takes time to clean it out. So the fork really does a great job. Now, we're going to add healthy oil. And when I was paleo and created this recipe, I used ghee because I always had it on hand. I made my own. And if you want to know how to make it, just comment and I'll do a video on that. Today we're using good quality olive oil. California Olive Ranch. You got to be careful with your olive oil. There's a lot of fraudulent oils out there. It's actually big money and big business. Time for the spices. And there are 4, I believe. We're adding garlic powder. And I think I said I don't like waste. So I'm not big on wasting time either. And I needed a 1/2 teaspoon for my minced onion. So I'm using the 1/2 to measure my garlic powder. One less thing to wash. That called for a teaspoon of garlic powder. A 1/2 teaspoon of minced garlic. I do get this from Amazon. You can buy it bulk. A lot of places. Frontier sells it. Amazon is the best price I've found. I'm paying almost $10 a pound now. I think that's organic. But anyway. And then I use Himalayan pink salt. I do have regular salt in the house, but I bought it to clean something. I don't remember what it was, but I do not eat it. Himalayan pink salt is higher in minerals and 1/3 lower in sodium than regular salt. So let's see. 1/2 teaspoon. Oh, heaping. I'd say that's heaping. And why I tap the teaspoon is because some of these things are sticking and that gets more of it out. All right, almond meal, pepper, onion. Well, again, because the bulb of the onion, of the green onion, is more like a regular onion, we're going to use that. So we need to trim off the end, because I'm not making anything else this week that would use these. So let's see, 1/3 cup. I don't know if we're going to have 1/3 of a cup, but we'll see. So you always want to hold your chef knife on the blade and balance on the handle, like so. It gives you a lot more control. So we are not going to have 1/3 of a cup. So, excuse me while I find an onion. And these are so amazing. Everyone that I have given them to goes nuts. So I know there's all kinds of ways to cut onions. This is my favorite. I cut the ends off, I whack it, and then I peel it. Sometimes I might lose a layer of good onion. I don't worry about it too much. And then again, we're gonna dice this. So dice, it's mince is the smallest. Dice is keeping it as close to 1/8 of an inch as possible. Chop is 1/4 inch or larger. Rough chop is, to me, like 1/2 inch. But I don't take a, you know, if the size of the onion isn't important, like going into soups because they cook for so long, I don't worry about the size. So it does look like I need one more. And we're just going to put it directly in the bowl. All right. And basil, important. 1/4 teaspoon of basil. So I'm just going to do a pinch. Can we stir? You can put just a little bit more oil in here. Just a little. Because I added extra ingredients, so not too much. Our bodies do need fat, healthy fats, to be able to utilize and produce hormones. And hormones, of course, are important to so many things. All right. So I'm going to cut from here. We get like 5 patties out of this. You can make the size you want. You can weigh if you want. Ding. And I will be back I'll meet you at the stove. Okay, I'm back. Ooh, you can see it's hot. Sizzling hot. I had to heat up my pan. Now we're going to add some oil. And people say, when is it ready? Well, way before it smokes. So when it runs easily across the pan like this, it is ready. And the stove is just under medium. Now, doesn't really matter the size of the patties, but I said it makes 6. They're going to weigh just a little less than 2.5 ounces, but I took the time in case you're curious. But I don't typically measure because it really doesn't matter. You know, unless you're have 5 kids and need exact even portions for them. It doesn't matter. So we might even get 6 out of this. It's 3 to 4 minutes aside. So you want the oil to be hot, you want the pan to be hot, otherwise it won't brown. Now, I love cast iron for everything but eggs. Because, I don't know, I've tried all the seasoning things and I can't seem to get a good season on mine. Good enough for eggs anyway. So I just have a small ceramic pan for that. Whoops. Mama not perfect. Alright. Got a little extra in here, so we're going to tack it on to some of the smaller ones. Because again, I don't like waste. This one's got a crack in it. So we'll seal that baby up. Alright. I'm setting it just for 3. I set a timer. Because some time has already passed. So I'm trying to think of some things I will do in the future. And one of them might be some actual live classes where you can ask questions, but I will have to have an assistant to help me read the questions. So, if you want me to make anything in particular, I have a lot of recipes. I'm 65 and I've been cooking since I was 13. So, imagine, I did it for a living. I owned my own restaurant, a couple of them. I've managed kitchens. I love making soups. Talk about not wasteful. I had amazing food costs because I'd walk into the walk-in, look and see, oh, those carrots are getting kind of old. I need to use them. And so it's that and that. And I can feel flavors. So I would kind of feel into it and then add ingredients. Like if I had a lot of bell peppers or sweet peppers that needed to be used, I kind of thought Italian, sweet Italian sausage cream soup with pepper and green onion. Something like that. So that's why I had such low food cost. Because I was able to use up vegetables, meats, whatever. Typically in soups. So we're about a minute away. So ask me anything and I will answer in the comments. I am going to post affiliate links. It would be wonderful to have your support. I am an artist by, I don't know, by trade. Is that the right phrase? I love making art. And if you want to follow me, it's about the Borcher's art on Facebook or Instagram. You can see the kind of work that I do. And everything I do is about love. So, this certainly is, in case, I think I told the story, but I'll tell it again since have some downtime. When I was a mom to my young children, I had a brain tumor growing and I was unaware of it. I also had a lot of stress. We had a restaurant, all the kids were adopted. I had issues with my now ex-husband. Anyway, the timer's about to go off, so I'm just going to turn it off. And we're going to check the very first one that I put in. Oh, look at that. Perfect. Anyway, I also had a lot of childhood trauma. And so I was into everything being perfect. Okay. See, it falls apart if it's not done. So, not perfect. The center one was the last. I believe this one was next. It is a little tight. The good thing is you can just press them down and they go back together. I know that one's going to have a light spot, so we won't even turn it right now. Oh. Anyway, she was kind of messy. My daughter was kind of messy, and sugar would spill everywhere. Or she would, yeah. I had a hard time with it. It made me crazy and maybe a little angry. And I didn't want to be angry with her, so I just quit trying to teach her to cook. So now she's a young woman. She kind of learned on her own, and she's 26. She is staying with her dad while she finishes her degree, but she really wants to learn to cook, and I'm teaching her this way because this will benefit the world as well. Because all the foods I cook, I don't know how I'm going to get this sucker. Oh, that did, oh, not quite. Everything I cook is healthy. I have an air fryer coming. It'll be my first one. I've used them before, and I love them. And one of my favorite foods is Brussels sprouts, and they make amazing Brussels sprouts. So, we got some messy patties. We have some beautiful ones. But it's not over until the fat lady sings. That was came from, I don't know, an opera thing? I don't know. Anyway, it wouldn't be considered politically correct to say that anymore. But then I'm not very politically correct. So, I forgot to set the timer. But I am an intuitive cook. So we're going to flip this one and see. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Well, I hope that you make these. Loaded with fiber. Loaded with all the good stuff that broccoli contains. And if you let them cool, they hold together a little bit better. Delicious. All right. Sending you off. Let me know what you want me to make. All right. Thank you.